make this case in your book for cracking hearts open. We're not talking open heart surgery here, of course.
Yeah.
But it's by luring the advantaged people in the process of coming home, going back to the communities. How so? Explain the thinking of cracking hearts open.
People like me who grew up in my circumstances, not everyone, but had a certain disconnection, as you said at the beginning, from toil, struggle, need. It's not to say everybody's lives were easy or great, or families also had struggled with addiction and the like. But that disconnection, privilege is a disconnection drug. The more wealth and privilege you have, the more you're sort of disconnected from the rest of your fellow humans and the human condition, which is a certain amount of struggling and suffering as well as joy. And my message to my fellow wealthy one percenters is to come home. Stop traveling the world and being sort of flitting around and not being connected to place. Stake yourself in a community. Put your stake in that community and make sure it's the best, most equitable place possible. Not an enclave, but New York City or a community. And bring the wealth home. Bring the money that's now in this global financial casino or is hiding in the offshore system, bring it home. Don't put it into the making money paper trading. Put it in the real economy of goods and services that employ people. Bring the wealth home. Share the wealth. Not just through charity, but charity is important and philanthropy is important, but it's not a substitute for an adequately funded public sector.
So, and which would be contributing to infrastructure and that sort of thing to make a community come alive, to make a community better, to bring back something to a community.
And my point is that is entirely in the selfish interest of the wealthy in our society.
Shouldn't the government do that, though? I mean, if there's a disenfranchised area where, let's say, a subway or a bus doesn't go, so the person has to find a ride to get to the nearest stop so they could get to a job when normally it could take them probably 20 minutes. Shouldn't a federal or state government cover something like that? I'm asking.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why I'm saying philanthropy is not a substitute for an adequately funded, vibrant, healthy public sector paid for by a progressive tax system. So stop dodging taxes. Again, wealthy folks who have created all kinds of elaborate schemes to avoid paying their fair share, my argument is pay your darn taxes. Quit whining. In the years after World War II, during this period of shared prosperity, we had much more progressive taxes on high incomes. Andrew Carnegie advocated 100% tax on wealth above a very high threshold. Invest that in debt-free education for the next generation. It's a no-brainer in my point of view.
And if it is a no-brainer, why aren't more wealthy people jumping on that bandwagon?
Well, I think actually some of them are. So there's a segment of wealthy people, I call them the unreachable rich. They're having a good time. They're very happy inside the story of their own deservedness. And they're disconnected so severely from the struggles of the rest of humanity, we're going to have a hard time inviting them home. But there are people, there's this network called the Patriotic Millionaires, there's a young group network called Resource Generation. There are these networks of wealthy people who are lobbying for fair tax policy. The Patriotic Millionaires were out there publicly opposing this tax cut, saying, don't give us another tax cut. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, others have been very outspoken. Don't give us more tax breaks, right? And so I think...
And are they asking for it? I mean, is this something that millionaires and billionaires are asking for as a tax break?
Well, some of them are.
Yeah.
Some of them use their lobbying infrastructure to get more tax breaks. And they have a theory which is, hey, we're the engines of the train, we're the job creators.
The backbone of society.
We should all just prostrate ourselves and exult before us and give tax breaks, and maybe we should just give them money directly from the Treasury, which is what some of them lobby for. But my point is, there's a segment of people who are among the wealthy and then there's another segment that are just not engaged. And part of my work and message is to go out and say, you know what, come home. And this is where the cracking open hearts matters, because people are walled off, emotionally from their neighbors.
They live in their own gated community within, basically.
But want connection and want to be part of humanity, don't know how to relate to it. It sounds like a stretch, but let me tell you, I'm encountering it every day. People are waiting to be called to something bigger and grander than buying something, than consumption. They want to be part of a vibrant society that works for everybody. Not everybody, but that's the majority of people want to be part of something more meaningful.